Warning, this content is for entertainment and educational purposes only. This video is brought to you by First Detachment Nutrition. Battle tested, expert formulated. Use discount code AB10 at checkout for 10% off. All right, folks, Big Paul here today with another Anabolic Q&A. We got some good ones on deck today. I'm going to dig into all those questions in just 1 second. Lebo Performance 9711 asks, what is the best time to take HGH for fat loss? I think it was Broderick Chavez I heard say the rule of thumb, and Broderick, I apologize if I'm incorrect about this, is morning for fat loss, evening for muscle gain with HGH. And that's generally what I have seen. I, in the off season, will run my HGH in one big bolus at night, mainly because it just makes me tired if I take it during the day. During contest prep, I split it up into 3 doses. I'll take one fasted before I do my cardio in the morning. I'll take one in the afternoon, probably pre-workout, and then another shot before bed. I found that to work great on contest prep. It does seem to make me a bit leaner. This is just anecdotal, my personal experience. But what I've seen is when I take the doses in the morning, I do get some bit of fat burning effect from it. If you're in the off season and you're in a caloric surplus, I don't know how much of a difference it really makes. Probably zero. So I just take it all at night. See ball, get ball, 937. Why is everybody 937? Ask. Q&A. Why does everything you read about white rice say it's bad, yet everybody who eats white rice regularly is lean? Well, white rice has a little bit higher of a glycemic index, and it is a starchy carb. Most regular people are fat asses and sit around and do nothing all day long. They aren't training like we do. And I would bet that rice is probably loaded up with some sort of oil or butter, and it's more likely that they're just eating a large calorie surplus and eating a bunch of extra dietary fats that are just making them fat. I don't think it has anything to do with the rice. I think that is just a bunch of BS and hooey, if you ask me. Every bodybuilder eats white rice and chicken. I ate it all the way up to my bodybuilding show, and I got down to 5% body fat. So it is clearly not the white rice that's making you fat. Getting fat is really, at the end of the day, about net energy balance. I don't know why this is a mystery to everybody. If you're eating in a caloric surplus, you're going to get fat. If you're eating in a deficit, you're going to get leaner. You could literally eat Snickers bars all day long. There's some doctor that did it, ate 3 candy bars a day. I don't recall who it was. Or even eating McDonald's 3 times a day. And if you're in a deficit, you're going to lose weight. Now, I'm not saying that is the most optimal for your performance or for being a bodybuilder or for being healthy, but net energy balance rules supreme. Calories in, calories out. Now, I do think your food choices and your macro choices do have an effect on body composition and performance. The reason why we eat white rice, if I can speak, white rice as bodybuilders is because it's easy to get down. It doesn't seem to cause gut distress. And we are eating large amounts of food in the off season to try to grow. And it's pretty damn hard to eat 700-800 grams of carbohydrates from oats. You're going to be spending a lot of time on the toilet if you do that. If you're the average fat, lazy American who doesn't do jack shit all day long, doesn't train, you don't need to be eating that much rice. You're just going to get fat. For those of us that are in bodybuilding, it is a performance enhancing tool to eat these types of things. So it's like putting rocket fuel in your Honda Civic. If you're an average person, you're just going to blow the engine up. Bad analogy, but you get what I'm saying. It's all relative. Gym Bro Chad, I love this name, asks, what happened to your sensitivity to anabolics if in your first blast you do 500 milligrams of test and then you discover that you are better milking lower doses, 253 to 300 milligrams a week. So for your second or next blast, you want to run low dosages. So do you still get good gains even if you have run higher medium doses in the past? I'm not really sure what he's asking here. I'm going to take a guess at this. It doesn't take a lot to grow if you have your training and diet buttoned up. That's what I have seen. A lot of guys are using tons of anabolics to make up for shitty training and for shitty nutrition. And it doesn't matter how much you take. If your diet sucks, if your training sucks, you aren't going to grow. Now, if you have that cleaned up and buttoned up, you're going to get a lot better results. I will say this, as you get bigger, it's going to take more anabolics to grow. Bigger body, more androgen receptors. Androgen receptors upregulate as you have more exposure to androgens. You're going to need more to grow. For me now, I can cruise and maintain on something like 300 milligrams of testosterone a week. I don't need that to grow. But if I want to grow, I need to be on a gram plus. I'm not going to grow on anything less than that. I'm hit that point. The bigger you are, the more it's going to take. If you're smaller, you're not going to need as much. It's all relative. At least that has been my experience. So it's very relative. My thought process is, unless you're a competitive bodybuilder and you're trying to turn pro, if you're just a gym bro, as your name would indicate, take the minimum effective dose to get the job done. Robert Mullins, 1999, has a cutting question. Hey, Big Paul, I'm cutting and hitting a plateau. My calories are clean and all accounted for, weighed and measured. Cardio and strength training is dialed in. For the last 3 days, I've been hovering around the same weight. 6 weeks in on the cut, I'm already down 17 pounds. What do you think's going on? Well, I mean, that's great progress for 6 weeks, 17 pounds down. That's pretty incredible progress. It's not going to be a linear thing when you're cutting. You're not going to lose weight every single day. And some of it's relative to, you can do the math on it. At the beginning, you're going to lose a bunch of water weight just from cutting carbohydrates back. You're going to be glycogen depleted, which is going to pull water off of you. So usually at the beginning of a diet, you'll see an initial large weight drop, and then it slows down. And the reason it slows down is because that water weight has been evened out, and now we're really burning fat. And burning fat is a very, very, very slow process. You can calculate it out. A 500 calorie a day deficit would burn 1 pound of body fat per week. A 1,000 calorie deficit a day, which is pretty steep in my opinion, would burn 2 pounds a week of body fat. So I generally, on my cuts, I will target between 1 to 2 pounds of body fat loss per week. I found that is reasonable, and anything much more than that, I will end up losing muscle tissue. So you had that initial fast weight loss, which was largely water weight, I would guess. And then now you're getting into the hard part of the diet. What I'll do is just slowly ratchet up the cardio and slowly reduce the calories to keep that 1 to 2 pounds a week of weight loss going. I average the weight out for the week and see what the average weight loss is for the week. There is going to be metabolic downregulation. Your body will slow the metabolism down as you progress in the diet. Cardio becomes less effective. Calorie deficits become less effective. Well, it's not that they become less effective. Your body has lowered your metabolism. We can do things such as using fat burners to compensate for that, doing more cardio, continuing to cut calories. Sometimes having a high day or a refeed day will give you a kick. I don't know how much it really makes a difference. It's good for filling glycogen back out, if nothing else. These are some strategies you can get, but as you get deeper into a cut, it gets harder. Also, as you get leaner, this is what I found, when you get down into single digit body fat, you're not going to have these big numbers on the scale. The last 4 weeks of my contest prep this year, I don't really think I lost much weight. A couple pounds, maybe pound and a half, 2 pounds, but I got harder and harder and harder. As you get leaner, as you get down into single digit body fat, small changes are very noticeable. They aren't when you're heavier. So it's all relative. I would target 1 to 2 pounds a week of fat loss. And like I said, if you aren't hitting that, either lower your calories or increase your cardio and go from there. I'm probably slaughtering this name, Cruz Marwai or something like that. What are your thoughts on intermediate fasting? It's just a fad thing. There's no magic for fat burning with intermediate fasting. I just spoke about this in the previous question or one before, I don't remember. But at the end of the day, it's net energy balance. Why people lose weight with intermediate fasting is because you're limiting your window of when you consume food, and you're probably just eating less. You're probably in a calorie deficit. Now, with that said, I occasionally like to do some fasting, and it has nothing to do with fat burning. I have a very sensitive stomach. I struggle with IBS, and I found that sometimes if I take a break from eating, even if it's for something like 20 hours, not a full 24-hour fast, I'll do something like where I eat my last meal and then I won't eat again until 5 the next day, just to give my stomach a break. And it seems to let my stomach heal. Maybe, maybe not, or it's just I'm emptying out all the crap that was in there. Or sometimes I'll do a full 36-hour fast just to give my stomach a break. Now, with bodybuilding, probably not the best strategy to not eat. We're going to be catabolic if we're not eating. Not the best strategy for putting on size. Once again, net energy balance, being in a calorie deficit is why you lose weight. It's not that there's some magic to intermittent fasting. If intermittent fasting works for you and helps you lose weight, fantastic. I have no problem with it. It's just that there's not something magic about intermittent fasting that makes it better for losing fat that some of these other assholes are going to tell you. All right, folks, I want to take a quick break from this episode to tell you about the new e-course that Kurt Havens and I have put together, The Scientific Principles of Anabolics and PEDs. This is the most comprehensive PED e-course ever put together with over 80 modules, including intros to PEDs, major steroid profiles, competitor off-season cycles, non-competitor cycles, contest prep cycles, HGH fundamentals, insulin fundamentals, side effect management, safer use concepts, fat loss agents, estrogen management, and advanced PED and hypertrophy science. It is the best course out there of its kind. Go check it out. Link is in the video description below. Tim Wilkerson, 7523 asks, can you explain the mechanism of action of how carbs are protein sparing? Thanks in advance, Big Paul. Well, it's real simple. You're gonna have all these morons saying, you don't need carbs, you don't need carbs, you don't need carbs, you don't need carbs. Your central nervous system runs off of glucose primarily. Now, yes, you can use ketones for your brain, but you have to be in getting into true ketosis is very difficult. And I would say most assholes that say they're on a keto diet aren't really on a keto diet. They're on a high protein, moderate fat diet. You have to eat a large amount of fat for your body to actually get in full-blown ketosis. I would say most people never achieve ketosis. They're doing refeed days once a week and all this other stuff. They're just doing a calorie cycling diet. So the reason why carbs are protein sparing is because if your body doesn't have the glucose it needs for your brain to work, it's going to start breaking down proteins and converting them into glucose through gluconeogenesis to make carbohydrates glucose for your brain to work and other functions in your body. So literally your body is using protein as carbohydrates, and it's a very expensive process. I don't remember the exact number. It was something like 3 grams of protein for 1 gram of carbohydrate. Maybe it wasn't that high. I don't recall exactly, so don't quote me on that one, but it takes a fair amount of protein to make carbohydrates. So these dinglings that are eating high protein diets, something like a carnivore diet, and not eating carbs, They're just eating very expensive carbs. Their ribeyes are getting converted into carbohydrates through gluconeogenesis. So it would probably make sense to eat a little bit of carbohydrates and spare that very expensive protein, and save yourself the trouble. So cut out the middleman, just eat some carbs. You don't have to eat a crazy amount. I think you need something like 140 to 150 grams per day for basic neurologic function. You don't need a ton. Just eat. If you want to be primal, eat a fucking potato with your steak. Doesn't get more primal than a potato. I don't know what to tell these guys. So eat a little bit of carbohydrates, and you're going to spare that protein from being broken down and turn into carbohydrates. You're cutting out the middleman, probably saving yourself a bunch of money because meat is expensive. Just eat a potato instead. All right, folks, that's all I've got on this one. Just a reminder, check out the e-course that Kurt Havens and I have created, The Science of Anabolics and Performance-Enhancing Drugs. Link is in the video description below. It is the best e-course out there, science-based e-course on performance-enhancing drugs and anabolics, steroids, HGH, insulin, side effects, everything is in there. You can learn a few things and not be a dummy. Well worth the money. Check it out. I have a free preview of it. You don't even have to buy it. There's probably 2 hours worth of content on there for free. You can check out. Go to it. Link is below. Thank you for watching. For coaching or consultations, head over to www.anabolicbodybuilding.com to book your spot today. I can help you with optimizing hormones, fat loss, muscle gain, physique, athletic performance, nutrition, and health. For more information, shoot me an email at bigp3rd@gmail.com.